Greetings from a fishing village on the Atlantic coast. You've tuned in to Podcast Portwenn, celebrating the world of Doc Martin unofficially. I'm Chesley Wexler, and we'll be discussing Doc Martin, the medicine, the mayhem, and the marvelous people of Portwenn. Patty and Doug rejoin me tonight to talk about Best Medicine, Season 1, Episode 3. Erica will be back next week, so come through, and welcome back to Podcast Portwenn.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, good to be with you.
Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining. Yes, Erica's day got away from her, and so she didn't get a chance to stream on Hulu today, so she'll be back next week, and she can talk about both episodes then. So I'm going to kick it off to Patty first, and just get what did you think of Episode 3?
I'm kind of sad Erica's not here tonight because she and I had differing opinions on a couple of characters, and I was curious to hear what she thought because to be honest, I was a little more disappointed in Episode 3 compared to 1 and 2.
Really?
Yeah, I found I'm tired of the sheriff. I still feel like he's overdone, and the couple that owns the restaurant, bar, whatever, I still feel like it's not that I don't like the characters, but I just feel like it's overacting or something. Something is too much about them, and
Okay.
I want to like them more, and I just still don't.
Okay. What about plot-wise? What did you think plot-wise?
Well, I mean, I think it seemed true to what Doc Martin's character seems to be, where he is just relentless about getting a diagnosis. It did remind me a little bit of Dr. House, the way, whether or not he emotionally cares about the patient, he cares about the puzzle, the figuring out what's wrong. And he may actually have a little bit more empathy than House did because he said, I want to make him better. I don't care about his baseball or whatever. So I did think it was sort of true to that. The thing I wondered though, I mean, the guy, what did he do? Did he just pull a muscle the first time and then he broke his wrist the second time? I don't think he would be in that game. In a stretch of reality. So that disappointed me about the episode as well.
Yep.
Yeah, and he broke his arm.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was broken. It wasn't just
right.
And okay, it was only running, but I just think there's probably rules against that and you can't do that.
You think. What did you think, Doug, overall?
Well, overall, compared to Episode 2, it totally left me flat. I was I was so excited after Episode 2. The tide had changed. The doctor had become my guy. He's still my guy, but I just finished the episode thinking, oh, okay, that was flat.
That's so
I
funny.
right. I think it was a good plot and a little bit of predictable at the end because we know his number one thing is his patients. He'll do anything for them. I mean, he's freaking violating a restraining order. So, that's what I think that's what he is, which I like. I love him. But the episode in just general was flat. The whole thing with the bully where he's basically threatening him of, I'm going to keep quiet about this. I mean, there's an easy solution for that, right? You just basically call a meeting and said, here's what happened. And it's the truth. And once you have the truth out there, it's a non-issue. Of course, that would take away the protagonist, which he will definitely be.
Yeah.
So a little flat, but still like the doctor.
I'm wondering what is the stuff that went on at Boston General or whatever this hospital is, because is there more to it than what we're thinking there is? Like maybe full transparency is not a good thing for him.
I guess time will tell.
Yeah, I mean, that certainly could be. I mean, he maybe something more than freezing up on the operating table.
Because that's all we've been told, and that's all I believed it to be based on what I've seen so far.
Well, there's still the blood thing. I kind of agree with Erica, and she said in prior podcasts that it seems weird that he could have been a surgeon if this aversion to blood was all his life. So it seems like it has to be recent. And it's one thing to freeze up on the operating table, but does that also suddenly make you afraid of blood? Maybe there was something with his sister with the blood that hasn't come out yet. I don't know.
I guess trying to I don't know about you guys. I'm always trying to figure things out, right? And I'm trying to divorce myself from the idea that I have 10 episodes of Doc Martin in my history. But this particular plot line of sister dying in accident is a completely new plot line. And so I am in the same boat as you guys are as far as I don't know what's going to happen. What I keep trying to figure out is if he was in the car for the accident, was it a very bloody accident? And therefore, when he sees this 8-year-old on the table having been in a car accident, all of that trauma that he's maybe suppressed or something.
Yeah, maybe that's what I was going to say. Maybe he suppressed it and it all came back all at once or something. I don't know. Then you think he should be seeing a therapist.
And maybe that's coming, right?
Yeah.
But interestingly, I loved this episode.
I was just going to say the look
Wow.
on your face when I said I didn't like it as much as 1 and 2. And I thought,
Yeah.
I wasn't 100% sure, but I thought I saw Doug kind of nodding a little bit. And then when he said flat, you went,
I was shocked. I really
how dare you
was.
insult my show?
Well, Patty, I wanted you to go first because I wondered what you thought. And
Yeah.
that's why I wanted you to go first, see if you thought it was flat too.
Yeah.
Or not as good.
Yeah, it wasn't like, I'm not going to watch this show again. It was just like, that one was kind of disappointing.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
Interesting. Now, see, and I share this on the second half of these episodes where I talk with my Doc Martin people, and I talk to you guys about this too. I'm not a sitcom person. So yesterday's episode to me was more of a dramedy than a sitcom, where you have more dramatic things happening with funny aspects to them. And that appeals to me more because I liked the fact that I thought that the sheriff was more subdued, thank goodness, because I thought this was the least over the top he had been. He seemed to be actually taking his job seriously when he was serving the papers. Can we speak in private? You really want to speak in private? Don't make me have to do this, Doc, in public, right? So he seemed to be more professional, told him to lawyer up, was giving him good advice, those sorts of things. So he didn't seem as ridiculous as he had in the past. And I got a lot of chuckle about Elaine and her twin. I thought that was a funny plot line with, the sister I ate.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of thought that was a little too much too, but that's the way she is. That character is always going to be that way. Somehow she's too much, but it doesn't bother me as much about her as it does about the sheriff. Somehow I want the sheriff. I don't know. I didn't like the way he kept calling, I know we're buds now. We're not buds now. I don't know. I hope they don't do that every week.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not crazy about the sheriff.
Yeah.
Louisa and Elaine, they are fantastic.
Yeah.
But the sheriff could be replaced.
Yeah, the sheriff could be replaced or toned down. Like I could see, I think Patty, you might have mentioned last week, or Doug, if he gets over this heartache of the loss of Louisa, and when she says, "This isn't you."
Yeah.
Right?
That made me feel like, okay, maybe he can be somewhat normal, but he still is like, hey, I'm so macho. I'm so cool. I'm your friend. I don't know. It
Yeah.
just,
But he didn't seem ridiculous to me. Like he didn't seem, maybe the acting seemed better because he wasn't being asked to be so over the top.
Right, crazy.
yeah.
I liked Al. Al's
Um,
Bert's son, who's flirting with Elaine.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I find him to be an endearing character.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I
Yeah, he seemed-
actually liked her mom, too. And I'm very curious. I hope we get to meet the soon-to-be stepdad because I'm very curious if he really is a jerk or not. Because after I met the mom, I was like, maybe this guy's okay and she's just having trouble dealing with the situation. So I thought that was done pretty well. And that kind of piqued my curiosity. So I'm looking forward to learning that in a future episode.
Did either of you look up whether having your heart on the other side is an actual thing? Or have you heard of that?
I didn't.
I have heard of vanishing twin. I did look that up, and that is a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they took much liberties there. I think that was pretty accurate. Other than just saying calling it that one ate the other is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just
right.
looked it up. It says twin heart on the wrong side likely refers to dextrocardia, where the heart is on the right side, or heterotaxy syndrome, situs inversus, which I think is the term he used, a complex condition where internal organs are mirrored, sometimes with severe heart defects, often seen in twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you would think, given how online that Elaine is,
Mhm.
she would have looked up, why is my heart on the wrong side? And asked her
Yeah.
mom before now, hey, did I have a twin?
Yeah, good point.
Right.
Unless research isn't her thing,
I look everything up.
but she may also be all about her, all performative output versus research.
Yeah, maybe.
Hard to say. What do you think, Doug, of the Martin Louisa chemistry stuff?
Well, that took a back seat on this episode, I
It
think.
did.
It was still there, but I think it took a back seat, and well, I'm sure we'll see that in other episodes.
He did show, I guess, a little bit of empathy that he had to learn from her with respect to being insecure about whether your job is going to still be there. She kind of pushed him to acknowledge it, that she might be feeling that too.
Yeah.
Right, and then he was pushed on him, and he didn't think of anything, and then at the end he did.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. So even the doc can learn.
Right. You have to admire his persistence with that patient, though. I mean, he's climbing through windows and, like you said, violating restraining offers and tackling catchers.
Yeah, I think that was. I would have been hard pressed to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even without the brittle bone disease, if he had just broken his wrist in a little bit more normal way, you cannot slide into home with a broken wrist. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just a terrible thing to do.
Yeah.
And so I found that pretty preposterous.
It seemed like there was a lot of paternal pressure that kid felt.
Yeah.
But would the coach have allowed him to do that? It seems as if the town was so invested in this win. Were they just being absolutely ridiculous in what they were going to allow?
I could see that.
I
Right? If
yeah,
you're,
I don't know.
if the Giants or the Mets have lost to Philadelphia for 6 years in a row, and here's our one chance, we might take it. Like, the arm will heal eventually.
Yes. I had to laugh at Aunt Sarah.
Oh, she's always, I think always going to be funny. Yeah. But I
Yeah,
could see
what?
that coming too. You couldn't see that coming?
I didn't
No.
see that coming.
The
Did you
only
see that
thing
coming,
that I
Doug?
didn't see coming was, oh, this happens every year. As soon as I saw the guy and saw that he was about her age and everything, I was like, okay, this is going to be,
Wow.
so
I
that
didn't see that
surprise
coming
me.
at all.
Oh,
No, not at all.
I definitely saw it coming, but I thought that was the first time. I didn't think it was every year.
Also, I mean, I could almost see like cutting the lobster pots and all that kind of stuff in a way, because it's kind of like you're taking my livelihood,
Livelihood, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But stabbing the guy's tires.
That's criminal. Yeah.
And would you do that to somebody who you were completely
Attracted
attracted to? Or is
Yeah.
this becomes this like love-hate thing that just every now and
Right.
then pops into
I
this?
don't know. Yeah.
Wow. Didn't expect that.
I wasn't crazy about that guy either.
No.
Yeah.
Because,
Hey.
I thought he was like the enemy of Aunt Sarah, so we got to side with Aunt Sarah. And also he's a
Sure.
woodpecker.
Yeah. I did like the mascots, a mosquito and a woodpecker.
Doesn't that seem
Having
very
gone to
small
a
town?
school- yeah, my two schools were blue hens and yellow jackets, so it's about the same.
That's true.
So, Patty, that was Delaware and Georgia Tech?
Yes.
Well
Very
done.
good.
Wow.
Very good.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about the episode? What are you looking forward to finding out next
Um,
time around?
Well, I'm looking forward to the next episode. Just, it seems as though I like the even-numbered episodes better than the odd ones. So, number 4 is coming up. I guess just continued development of the Doctor and what's hidden behind door number 2 and what happened in Boston. Is it more than what we've
Yeah.
been told?
Yeah.
And will that be revealed?
Why did it leave you flat this time, Doug? What were you hoping for?
I didn't have any expectations. So I really wasn't hoping this is where, right, expectations matter. And maybe I did have expectations, right? So the first one was kind of so-so, right? I wasn't crazy about the Doctor. The second one was so good that I kind of expected that to continue. And it just didn't draw me in like episode number 2 did.
You didn't get
So that's why it
surprised
was
by
fun.
probably. I mean, he's in 1 you didn't like him, in 2 you liked him. So
Loved
it's like yay, right? Loved him, but things haven't changed that much between 2 and 3, so you still like him, but nothing has enhanced that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure I understood. What about you, Patty? Why do you think
I don't
sort
know.
of flat?
Like I said, I thought the plot with the baseball thing was, unrealistic. I'm a little tired. The sheriff still annoyed me. Yeah, I
I
don't
got to
know.
find some unscientific people.
Not enough happens. I don't know.
I've got two
We are
analytical
scientific.
people. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
mean,
analytical, so this is like a little, maybe
Yeah.
we're a little one-sided. Got to find somebody who's willing to suspend all disbelief and just have fluff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I am a person who can watch a Hallmark Christmas movie, and that's suspending all belief, but
That's
I
true.
know what when you asked Doug, what were your expectations? I don't go into this kind of a TV show with expectations. I was like, oh,
No.
what's going to happen today? Whereas a Hallmark movie, I know exactly what to expect. They're very predictable, but if you want just like hey, I want to go into a world where it's all happy and nice and things work out in the end, you know what you're going to get, and you get it.
Yeah.
So
It's funny that you should mention a Hallmark movie because earlier today I got a text from a Doc Martin fan who he described it. Let me see if I can find. He said the production reminded him of a Hallmark movie, and it might be, I don't know if it was like the ending to him was predictable. It's
The-
like he had to somehow stop the kid from colliding, right? So you kind of knew he was going to do something. Maybe not as
Dramatic.
dramatic as what it was, but
Yeah. The subplot with Aunt Sarah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
yes.
that is kind of Hallmarky. Oftentimes people argue and then they end up being together, particularly old people. They like to, make us crotchety and whatever. I don't know about the dramatic ending.
Unless he was referring to Aunt Sarah.
Yeah. The dialogue's a little more sophisticated in
Mhm.
this show than most Hallmark movies.
Okay, that's good. I had to explain to someone on a Facebook page who they didn't understand why he tackled the catcher. And
Because he couldn't tackle the guy because then he would hurt him. Yeah.
that's what I explained. Yeah. But I mean, he could have just run in the baseline, right? All he had to do was interfere things, but
I don't think he could risk a collision with the guy with the broken arm, whatever his name was.
maybe. And then they get disqualified and they lose. Are they going to
Yeah.
be angry at the doctor or are they?
Oh my gosh.
That was funny how they kind of went back and forth. Like at the end of episode 2, the town was like, yay, Doc Martin. And then in the beginning of episode 3, when they said he caused the guy to break his arm, everybody hated him again immediately. It was like
Mhm.
turned on a dime.
Yep. Doug, you were going to say something?
Oh, just that I think they're going to hate him again. They blew it with Bar Harbor. So that's and it's all his fault.
But even though the young man said he was doing it for me,
Yeah, I mean the young man manned up and told the truth, but he should have still scored and they should have won.
yeah. Wouldn't that have tied it? That would have just tied
Actually,
it,
yeah,
right?
right. Yes, that would have tied it. It was 7-6. Yep.
Yeah. And the bully, of course, you had mentioned earlier, is going to, hold something over Martin's head, which if it's as simple as I froze during a surgery and unless he thinks it's really bad that he can't tolerate blood and he can't be their doctor if he can't tolerate blood.
Yeah. I think there must be something more than is going to come
Yeah.
out because I froze up once is not. People could forgive that, I think. More than they could forgive losing to the whatever they were, Bar Harbor people.
Yeah. Unless
Yeah, I agree.
did that 8-year-old die because he froze up?
Yeah, he didn't say that.
No.
When he described it to Louisa, it was just someone had to take over.
Mhm.
Yeah, he never said. I
Right,
think.
but
Yeah,
I mean, my assumption is someone took over and she lived, but that's a good
mine
point.
too.
If she died, that's a problem.
Yeah. A patient died because of your problem. Well, I guess we'll
Yeah.
find out at some point, hopefully this season. So it sounds like
Yes, hopefully.
you're intending to continue watching.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Good. Cool. Well, shall we plan next week then? We'll be back here again, hopefully with Erica.
Well, Erica will be swapping in for me since I'll be away.
Right. Okay. And if you can make it, that's great. And if not, we will not expect to see you. So cool. Well, as always, I appreciate your guys' time and you guys surprised the heck out of me tonight. Hopefully, hopefully you'll be happier next week.
Fingers crossed.
Cool. Thanks, you guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
This is where, if you've watched Best Medicine without having watched Doc Martin, you probably want to stop listening or watching now. I'm going to switch gears and talk to people who've watched both Doc Martin and Best Medicine, so there's a good chance that there will be spoilers. So I would ask if you're Best Medicine only, this is when you want to stop listening. This is my final warning. We have Chris with us. He has returned not only to the podcast, but he's back home sitting at our dining room table. Come through and welcome back to Podcast Portwenn.
Glad to be here. Glad
Good
to be
have
home.
you. Yes, glad to have you home too. That's very good. So, all right. So I just got off a call or a studio session with Doug and Patty. And interestingly, this surprised the heck out of me. They were left a little flat by episode 3.
Really?
Yeah, and that surprised they could tell I was surprised because I guess my face certainly gave it away.
Yeah. Because, well, when we were watching it, we both had the idea that, or the feeling that this was the best episode yet.
Yeah,
So
I certainly felt that way.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
liked it.
What made it better for you?
I can say that I enjoyed, again, the Martin Best character, and he was presented with a medical mystery, medical and moral issue, which he was trying to operate within the law and the desire of his patients and patients' guardians as much as he could. But still, the medical safety of his patient outweighed everything else for him. So that part of it I liked. The business with Elaine and the twin that she ate was kind of funny. The sister I ate, and at the end, the sister I never ate was good. I thought Elaine is coming across as more of a dimensional character. That is not purely a caricature, but a person. Still, the weird things that she wants to do in the office are a little over the top. Again, the way that Martin and his Aunt Sarah get along, and she's trying to show him that the village is not nearly as bad. Their interaction was good, was warm, funny after their hug. He says, "Release me."
That was very funny. I've seen that on a commercial, and I always thought that just the way he delivers that line, very deadpan, is funny.
The way that they bring in Glendon, I thought was good. He also comes across more as a person than a caricature in this episode. Probably the concern for his son. And his son was actually pretty good, behaving strangely, but kind of straight up. So those are the things that that I liked. I liked about it. That the people in it were again behaving more like people, not caricatures.
Yeah, I agree. And as I explained to the folks on the other side of the call, is the Mark Milo seemed less over the top, which was good.
Still,
Yeah. I know it's interesting, even with people who've never seen Doc Martin before, he seems to be the character that really drive people a little bonkers. So I guess we're all, no matter whether you're spoiled or unspoiled, you're kind of hoping that settles down a little bit.
Yeah.
I theorized that we liked it better because of all the reasons that you said, but the first 2 episodes, everything was predictable because we'd pretty much seen those plots before. Whereas in this episode, even though we'd seen some of the similarities, it was very different how he had to figure out what was wrong with the kid, because in Doc Martin, he was able to just go see the kid and the father and ask what was going on. Whereas in this, he was prohibited. He didn't have access to the medical records until he found out that they were in the basement. So it was not just a direct parallel. And so we were having to wonder how it was going to work out, like we had been seeing this for the first time. And I think that's good for we who have seen the series.
That was really not a consideration for me.
Okay.
Your understanding and familiarity with the originals episodes is far outstrips mine. So I don't have that keen a memory on what was actually happening in the various parts of the episode and how close it was to the original. So that's not really an issue for me. So seeing a remake, it's not nearly as an overlap for me.
Yeah.
But
And
I
I
still
don't
like
think
the
you're
third episode more.
Yeah, and you're not as bothered by knowing the outcome and
Right.
being able to predict it or not predict it as I am. I just hate when I can easily predict things. So, all right, very good. Anything else that you're thinking about with respect to episode 3?
I like the idea that Elaine will move in with Louisa. That's kind of an interesting idea. It seemed to occur very naturally in the show. It's a little surprising, but very natural. The interaction between Elaine and her mother, I thought, was actually pretty good.
It seemed to be popular with the best medicine people, too.
Yeah. Elaine acts like a sort of an impulsive teenager, but I presume that she's out of her teenage years at this point. So And she does talk to Louisa saying, "You're my favorite teacher." So there has to be a little bit of an age difference between them. But after students graduate and move on, no problem with that.
So it sounds like you're
So,
planning to continue to watch.
yeah,
Very good. All right. Thank you very much, Chris. We'll see you next time.
my pleasure. Bye, Chesla.
I'm happy to invite Oliver in. She's a first-time guest on Podcast Portwenn, and today we will be discussing Best Medicine, Episode 3. Oliver has seen Doc Martin before and has traveled to Port Isaac to see him filming, so come through and welcome to Podcast Portwenn, Oliver.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. So you watched on Fox last night, you watched Episode 3. What was your overall impression?
Yes, I did. I liked the way the storyline went. It took a bit of time for him to sort out what was wrong with his patient. But I liked the way they finally got around to the fact that the records were in the basement, and I also liked the through line of Louisa needing a friend and asking Elaine to move in with her. I thought that was a good segue too. I like that through line as well.
That sort of surprised me, but at the same time, I'm with you. I liked it. It seemed pretty natural that that would be the case, despite what I would think is something of an age difference between them.
Yeah, that's true. But I thought it was even more poignant because of that.
Yeah. It was an interesting plot twist to find out that Elaine was an identical twin who absorbed her twin.
Right. Yeah, that was exactly
Unexpected, right?
Yeah, and he solved that right away.
He has this medical clue and just throws this idea out there, and wouldn't you know, he was right.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought that was nice too. Really emphasizing his medical abilities.
Did this remind you of Doc Martin episodes?
Well, I think there was a Doc Martin episode of a boy who broke his arm when he fell over him in a very similar way. So that's why I kind of knew that he was going to resolve it. I don't remember exactly how in the original they resolved it, but I like this through line because it kept me on my toes. It's different. So I'm like, when's he going to solve this? And then Louisa needing a friend they never brought that up, anything like that. And I know that in the past, people would mention over the years on the threads and the Facebook that Louisa didn't have any friends. It was a criticism. And I think that, I don't know I know the producers do read the threads and read the Facebook. I know she's reads stuff. And I think that that's going to be a nice addition to showing a little more personal aspect of Louisa as opposed to just this iconic, beautiful thing that the doc admires from afar.
Yeah. I think the episode that it reminded me of was I think it was Aunt Joan's funeral, and it's the son of the undertaker who,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
And he's got a back problem, and Martin trips over him, and he breaks his leg, and
Right.
It still ends up, I think he's taking all protein shakes and sun lamps and all this other stuff.
Yeah, it was the same result.
But I agree with you in the sense that it was different enough, even though I recognized the plot, it was done differently because it brings this bully back in, who seems to be a repeating character.
That's true.
And then also the Elaine's mom, I realized, has a similar thing going on with dating someone who Elaine doesn't like, as Elaine's father had in the original, was going to marry somebody that Elaine didn't like.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's right.
And the fact that I didn't grab onto that right away, I believe, is a real credit to the fact that they are taking the similarities of the plots and they're starting to make them different enough that the U.S. audience who has watched Doc Martin is still interested in what's going on. Because otherwise it's like, I know what happens. They're just replaying it.
Exactly. I agree. Yeah, I had forgotten about that with Elaine's dad. I watched it a very long time ago.
Since this is the first time we've spoken, do you have favorite characters, least favorite characters of Best Medicine so far?
Well, I certainly like this Elaine better than the original Elaine. Now, the other two receptionists, I liked both of them. But Elaine, like a lot of people, kind of was a little harsh for the tone of the show. But I really like her. I think she's warm. She brought personality to the role right away, and just the first episode was a little awkward, but she's really become that character. So I really like her. I like Bert Large's son. I like him a lot. He's very natural. He's not annoying in any way, and you need characters that are not annoying or eccentric. So he's not eccentric in any way, and I like the actor, the young actor who plays him. I think he's real nice. I like Bert. He's fine with me. I think some people have feelings about him, but I think he's fine, and I wouldn't expect it to be Ian McNeice. I mean, Ian McNeice is a, a sensational actor, and he can bring stuff to a role that nobody else can. He's one of a kind.
Are you in the Burt Large Lover Society?
Yeah, I'm in that that Facebook group. Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely. I'm actually friends with him on Facebook personally. I've met him
nice.
and everything. He's a really nice guy.
That's great.
He's very
What do you think of
personable.
Martin so far?
I think he's really fallen into it. And like I say, I think same with the lady. It took him a couple of episodes, but I think he's fallen into it. I was not necessarily familiar with his previous TV show, but I think he's really captured it in his own way.
One thing that we've been discussing is the Doc Martin of Best Medicine does not seem to be as much of a fish out of water as Martin
Yeah,
Ellingham is in Portwenn, in Cornwall.
that's true. I agree. Um, and they kind of emphasize that but Martin in the original didn't have anybody from the town other than his aunt who remembered him. So all of these people were strangers to him, but he has that bully now, the guy who remembers him from the summers.
And he fits in, to me, I looked at him like he might be rich doctor coming to town, but he doesn't stick out like a sore thumb.
No, he doesn't.
And they're giving him something of an empathetic storyline.
Yeah, I think when they first started the show, the idea was that that the townspeople didn't like him, and that he really stuck out. And I think when Dominic Mangella created it, it was supposed to be more like that. So they've toned that down, which I think is probably a good idea for an American audience.
Yeah. The sheriff, we're accustomed to the Mark Milo and then the Joe Penhale. And now
Yeah.
we've got, the Sheriff Mark. What's your assessment?
Well, he's a little silly. He stands out in his silliness, but they do give him bits where he can be more empathetic. When he had to hand over the law materials to the doc, he was empathetic, and then told him to lawyer up and the whole thing. So they're giving him moments when he's more natural, but sometimes he's just a little too silly for me.
Yeah, I had that impression as well. The first 2 episodes, he just made my head explode. And this particular episode, I was with you in the sense of he's toning it down. He's still goofy, but I do hope that we see maybe all of that craziness was a reaction to the breakup, and as he heals, he might settle down and he can still be quirky, but not unbelievable.
Yeah, let's hope. I think so. I think that is also the writing and the directing. It's not just the actor.
Sure.
So he'll if they want him to tone it down, he'll tone it down.
Right, yeah. But I'm assuming we've got 13 episodes in the bag, so we'll just have to take what we get now, and if there's a
Yeah,
change that comes, it'll be next season.
13's a lot for a Doc Martin series.
Yes, I think the most they ever had was 9 if you count
Yeah,
like seasons 2 and 10, right?
Right. Yeah. So you always had, and you had to wait so long. And
When did you start watching the original?
I started at about 2010, early 2011. I'm not even exactly sure. I was flipping channels one Saturday night here on the Washington cable in Washington, and I came across channel 26 WETA, and I was just looking for something to watch, and it was this beautiful scenery, and I knew it was British, but I knew it wasn't period. And so I thought, well, this is really different. And so I watched it. It turns out it was the first ones we got were season 3. I was like, this is really interesting. So it was on Saturday nights at 8, and I started watching it. And then at one point, the station manager they were doing fundraising, and they were talking about how they got Doc Martin, and that was very interesting.
Any other best medicine notes?
I do wish for the music that they had used Colin Towns or somebody a little more interesting. I don't really. I think that enhanced the original quite a bit, but it's a little lackluster for me.
Yeah, I agree. That was actually in one of our earlier episodes of the podcast where I was asking people, did you notice the music? And, one person said they noticed it and it seemed very nice, but that's not something that they pay attention to that much. And in my mind, it was a plot element because,
Exactly, you couldn't help but not in the original. It spoke to you.
yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Oliver, this was great. I really appreciated getting to meet you. This was fun to talk to you, and I hope that I can call on you again for future episodes of the podcast.
Thank you.
And
Bye-bye.
to people who are watching, if you want to subscribe to the podcast, like this video, I'd really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Thanks for joining Podcast Portwenn. Podcast Portwenn is an independent fan production, not affiliated with, endorsed by, or sponsored by Buffalo Pictures, ITV, Fox, or the creators of Doc Martin or Best Medicine.